My name is Randy Anderson, President of the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame. I am pleased to read the beginning paragraphs of Dave Muley's book, Across the Seams, as it relates to our class of 2000 inductee, John J. Jachym. After 4.5 years in Jamestown, Harry Biscayr sold the Falcons to a 28-year-old businessman named John Jachym in 1945. Jachym would own, operate, and continue Biscayr's success in making the Falcons the kings of the Pony League in attendance and in the standings for the next 3 seasons. Jachym graduated from the University of Missouri in 1940 with a degree in journalism and took a job with the Associated Press in Jefferson City. Before long, Jachym, who had played a few years of college baseball, was assigned to interview Branch Rickey, the general manager of the St. Louis Cardinals at the time. Rickey kept in touch with Jachym, and in 1944 asked him to join the Brooklyn Dodgers front office. Unfortunately for Jachym, World War II intervened. When he returned from the Marines, Jachym looked for a job as a reporter in Western New York. By coincidence, he was offered a job with the Post-Journal for $12 a week, but a paper in Dunkirk, 20 miles north of Jamestown, offered $15 a week, so he took that job instead. In addition to reporting, Jachym took a part-time job as a scout with the Cardinals organization. He would write until 2 p.m. when the paper went to press, then scout from 2 p.m. till 11 p.m. During this time, he often came into contact with Biscayr and the Jamestown Falcons. Rickey's son, Branch Rickey Jr., was also a bright and intuitive baseball mind who sensed Jachym's entrepreneurial capacity. "Knowing you, I think you'd be happier if you had your own ball club," he said to Jachym. "But I don't have any money," Jachym answered. "You'll raise it. You'll find a way," Rickey Jr. replied. By the time news of VJ Day swept through Jamestown in August of 1945, Jachym had bought the team for $22,000, the highest price paid for a Class D team yet. Jachym's parents gave him $2,000. He had saved about $5,000 more, and he borrowed the rest.
As he returned from the Marines, an opportunity presented itself. Let John explain.
And I got to ask 2 quick questions for the video so I can clear it up. Our history of professional baseball. You bought the Jamestown franchise from Harry
Biscayr.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
Yeah, $22,500. And I bought a bus because we didn't have a bus. He had 2 station wagons. So I really had, I think I had about $30,000 in it, outside the 22. The only aside, Harry Biscayr agreed to sell the ball club for me for $20,000, and I agreed. And I was still in the Marine Corps when I came back from Washington. And then he said, "Well, here's an eager man." So he said, "I've changed my mind." He said, "I need $22,500." And he said, "You know, I told you I would accept certain ball players. You can have all the ball players." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we're getting ball players out right here. Everyone who's in the service, so you can have them." I said, "Well, Harry, you're right. I want to buy the ball club." So I gave him the $22,500. There's a ball player named Lyle Parkhurst, who was a local boy, a very crafty left-handed pitcher. He was a mature boy when he was 16. And so I get all the ball players. I'm still in the Marine Corps. I get a wire. Parker's drafted by Montreal. In those days, that's $1,200. So I got $1,200, and I sold 2 players. So I got the $2,250. So it's still $20,000.
1946, the first game since the end of the war, saw 5,162 fans. This was the largest opening day crowd in the history of Jamestown. Peacetime revival had occurred. Jamestowners were eager for baseball, unrestrained by the tentacles of war. From the ashes of a war-laden year came the 1946 Baseball Club. Peacetime baseball came back to Jamestown, read the Post-Journal, for the first time since 1941, and brought out the largest opening day crowd in the history of Municipal Stadium.
You had signed up for the inaugural season of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks,
Yep.
of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks.
Yep.
How did that happen? How did the Jordan reach out to you? How did that go?
I'd gotten to know Coach Basil for a while through JCC, the possibility of me playing there, and then I got to know him through that. And this summer I was looking for options. I was part of the Regulators, Southern Tier, the local travel team, but I had been reached out by the Olean Oilers, and I was looking that I might play there. And within the same couple days, my high school coach and travel coach, Coach Gran, had been in contact with Coach Basil and got me a good deal there. I was going to split the summer with Mitch Pascarella, so I was looking forward to that, but it didn't end up happening, unfortunately. But I'll be back next year, so that's good.
Well, we're excited to have you back, and in fact, we have a little video in the parking lot
Yep.
of 3Cs
Yep.
where you threw out the ceremonial first pitch with Mitch.
Yep. I think I was out of the bullpen that one, but
Yeah, that's right. That's it.
Mitch. I think Mitch started it off.
Actually, it's funny how I had the video of Mitch happened to, he was on the phone as if he was calling to the bullpen.
Yeah, that was a good video. I like that. There was some good food there that day too.
Baseball, we stand and cheer our team. Baseball, baseball in Jamestown reigns supreme.
Part of that is the Secrets of Champions under Dr. Carlo, because that's part of what the Tarp Skunks really offer to players.
Right.
Did you get into that program?
Yeah. I had a few online meetings with Dr. Carlo and a few other team members, and they were really helpful. Ours focused on a lot of nutritional and like a lot of more mental stuff that really was useful, like scheduling out like what you should be eating throughout the day and when, and what are good times to work out. And it was really helpful because I've been following that, and I've really liked it so far.
So are you currently throwing? I mean, are you?
Yep.
And do you have guys? Where do you work out?
I work out at my buddy's home gym, which I've been really lucky to have because none of the gyms in New York have been open. So I've still been lifting there, and I've been throwing with a couple different guys. I've been going down to Warren with a couple of my buddies that are both going to Mercyhurst next year. And then there's a catcher there that I've played with travel-wise, Aiden Morrison up at Canisius. He catches at Canisius. He's caught a few pens. And then my old high school catcher, Mark Mamoser, has been catching some pens when we're in Frewsburg. He catches at Penn State Barron now. And actually, I'm throwing in Erie on Sunday. I'm looking to throw a couple times this summer with Mark's Glenwood League team. It's a wood bat league. They play at Ainsworth Field over in Erie. So I'm looking forward to it, just to see some real competition, some live competition. There's some good players in that league.
So your first game's coming up?
Yep, on Sunday.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
You know what you'll be doing? You're pitching?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw a couple innings. Mark told me that the coaches just split it up into a couple innings, a few different pitchers per game. It's not like I'm going to go out and throw 5 or 6 innings. Just throw a few, ease into it. I haven't thrown live in almost a year, so.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah. So Mercyhurst in the fall, and by the way, I haven't asked, but what's your out pitch?
Mine, in high school wise, I've used my fastball. I've gotten decent velocity on it, so that's usually my go-to. But I've been working with a little slider and curve action. Actually, I threw with Connor Gray a few times since his season ended and stuff like that. He's worked with me on a little bit of a slider that I've been trying to use and get a feel for. So I've been working on that. I'm pretty confident in the pitch right now. So, and then I've been working on a changeup as well. Just trying to get a good mix going into Mercyhurst.
And I also see you're wearing an M hat for Mercyhurst.
Yep. I was really excited when I got the opportunity to commit there, and now in the fall go and play.
So there, at this point, to your knowledge, you're going to play fall ball there?
I'm not 100% certain on fall ball. We haven't heard much about that, but they've been pretty adequate on the fact that we're going back August 14th, which is a good sign for that.
So, but when you get the Mercyhurst, that they've designated you pretty much as a pitcher?
Yep. I'm just going to pitch there. That's the plan right now.
And normally in a college environment, do they play how many times normally a week, or what's a season?
A season is usually around 40 plus games, depending on how far you go in the postseason. Mercyhurst the last few years, they made it to the World Series, so they played a lot of extra games.
They're good, man.
Yeah, it's a great program.
You pitched a no-hitter your junior year.
Yep.
So what was it like, that last batter?
Honestly, I figured I'd be nervous. I didn't want to think about it once the game started going, but once it gets to the 6th or 7th inning, and I kind of start thinking about it, you're trying not to talk about it, you don't want to jinx it or anything, but I think my adrenaline took over the last inning, honestly. I got excited. I wanted to get it done, and I think when that last pitch was thrown, it was a big sigh of relief. It was almost like I was more nervous about losing it than I was and excited about getting it, but it's definitely a sigh of relief, and a lot of joy came, and it was a good time.
Was it a strikeout?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we're excited in Jamestown to have you part of our group.
More than excited to be here, to stay in town. It's a great environment, the ballpark down at Dietrich, and I can't wait for that.
Well, we can't wait either. 2021 will be just here before you know it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
These are the secrets of champions. Toby, Harrah, what do you look for in a good hitter?
The number one thing is that when you get in there, he has no fear of the baseball. He's anticipating a fastball almost on every pitch. He has the ability to hit the ball to all fields. The best hitters use the whole field. He uses his legs well. He gets him he's in a good athletic position. He keeps his legs under him all the time. And when he swings, his path to the ball is real consistent, not too much uphill, not too much down. And then he really gets after it. His head's tilted in the strike zone a little bit, where he's got good balance not only at the beginning of his swing and at the end of his swing, so he can repeat that swing over and over and over again. And he has the ability to really anticipate that fastball, and yet he can see the ball well enough to where if it's a changeup or a curveball or a slider, that he can still maintain his balance and still drive that ball to somewhere out on the field on the line. And he's a good two-strike hitter where he can really put the ball in play. He really has no weaknesses. He can handle the ball inside a little bit, and he can handle the ball outside a little bit. And of course that has to do with plate coverage. Number one thing is when you get in there to hit, you got to have plate coverage. But after that is you got to believe you can hit. You have to have a belief that you can hit anybody at any time. You have that feeling that there's nobody out there that can get you out.
He has no fear at all, and there's not a pitcher that if he got him out, he was just lucky.
You're not afraid to swing and miss. You have no fear. You don't worry about swinging and missing. You don't even worry about making an out. You really focus on seeing the ball and hitting the ball.